All right, what is up? Down here at the shop, and figured since we did some reorganizing and such yesterday, it'd be a good time to give you guys a shop update on what we got going on. So I guess we'll start here on the main side. There's the 150. We are, as of right now, we're getting this car put in storage. As you well know from the previous videos from quite a while back, we got the Nomad, and that car is going to be done before this one. So we got to get this one put in storage and out of our way so we can get on the Nomad. And I filmed a couple things on this truck, but everything we did wasn't really film worthy. We finished this truck up in spring, early summer of last year. It's a little dusty and dirty right now, but it's in here. It's going on a tour in Ohio, I think the end of this month. And the gas tank, as you can tell, is leaking at all the seams. And this was a brand new tank. So, got us a sheet of aluminum, and Jason's going to use this and hand make one. And then we'll get it all tigged up. I think he's got the templates next door. And for now, since we don't have any paint work for quite some time, we just tossed some of our metalwork stuff in the paint booth to kind of give us a little shop here, just make use of extra space. He's got templates for that gas tank made, so he can hammer form the ends. And where's it at? And then roll the main section. So don't know if we'll film anything on that, but I'll definitely show you guys a finished product when that's done. So we'll head back over and continue in the main area here. And finally got this uncovered and over here. So if you watch a previous video, you remember we got this thing in color and clear quite a while ago. But just like everyone's dealing with, there were a lot of parts that we have been waiting on for quite some time, and they've just been coming in, which is why I think this video has been nothing but Corvette stuff. So I'm not sure if I'll put this in here with the Corvette video or not, but if it is, then it is. But anyway, this car has not been wet sanded and buffed yet, which is why it doesn't look super phenomenal yet. But we got the doors laying in there, dash is all done. Got to clean the trunk out. It's kind of dusty and dirty, but it is now over here and ready to rock. And then, as you well know, this is what I've been working on in the previous portion of the video. Got the exhaust for it, and I just haven't been finishing up because, man, you would think you buy a really nice exhaust system, comes with all the clamps, hangers, and doesn't come with the collector plates to bolt those things up. So we got to get those so I can even, semi-mock this exhaust up. So I can't put the back half on it because if you know these cars, the exhaust goes through the back of the body, so I can't do the back portion, but I can at least get it going through here. Anyway, that's where that's at. But you've already seen that except for the exhaust. Or I might have thrown exhaust clips in there, I can't remember. But anyway, here is the Opal. I know we've had a few questions on why we haven't been doing anything with this, which we have. We just haven't filmed any of it. And also that car, we took this on ahead of schedule because we needed extra work at the time. And then we kind of got behind with parts and it's kind of got put on the back burner, but we should be jumping back on it here pretty quick. And the Nomad. Got it back up here and ready. So we're pretty stoked on that. Once this, the Nova we did the Willwood brakes on, we'll be doing a transmission swap. And then we do have a Dakota digital dash to do on a 72 Challenger. Once those two are knocked out, which those should be pretty quick jobs, I'll be back on the Corvette and getting the rockers and floors and stuff done in the Nomad. So look forward to those videos as well. And then over here, got a 3031 5-window coupe. Super nice car. It's a really, really nice car. Little rot back here in the rear sub rails and the lower rear quarter pieces, which obviously those are already cut out. Yeah, it's a really nice car. The other side's rotted out a little bit back here, but we got all the brand new pieces in here for it and brand new sub rails. So look forward to some stuff on this here pretty soon too. That was a lady we're doing that for. Her father had taken it apart. He passed away. So we are pretty much going to put this thing all back together and make it run and drive. It's going to be an all, it's not original, but an all stock Model A, you know, not hot rodded or anything, unfortunately, but it'll still be cool. Anyway, pretty sure that is everything. So figured I'd keep you guys updated, and that should be about it for what's going on at the shop. And yeah, we'll get back to whatever's after this, or maybe the end of the video. I'm not sure where I'm going to put it, but anyway, yeah, that's all. All right, starting this one off at the shop. Figured I'd work in this in this video. That way, I'm curious to see what you guys think and how much you want to see of this car. You can leave it in the comment section below if you really want to see me film more on it. We filmed stuff on it in the past, but we had waited, I want to say upwards of 8 months on some parts that had prevented us from doing anything further on this build. And we just got them in and got it finished. So it's an original 54 two-speed power glide, cast iron, obviously, out of the 54 Corvette. So there's a little adapter plate, and there's the trans. So Jason just got that thing all rebuilt. I had painted it a while back and got it all cleaned up, but it's all back together and ready to go. And as you can tell, I just got this thing off the jack stands. And this thing is filthy. We did keep this covered up at one time, but like anything, it kind of got uncovered, worked on it, recovered, plastic ripped, didn't put any more on it, and it's gotten dusty and nasty. So my goal today is getting all this Corvette stuff organized and cleaned up. So I'm clearing a path, getting stuff organized. We're gonna get this thing pushed out to the front of the shop so I can get this thing all hosed down, wiped down, and cleaned up. Make it look pretty again since it is brand new, but I want to do all that to then in turn get it back in here, get it back up on jack stands, and get it ready to mate the transmission to the engine. It's pretty much ready for that. I think we need a water pump gasket, which I can do that with it sitting in the car. So that's what I'd like to do, and I'll take you along for it. Like I said, once I get it cleaned up and done, then I can go through and make sure I have everything for the engine mounts and the trans mount and get this thing set down in there. I don't think it'll be in this video, but I'm not sure, it could be, so we'll see. Okay, as you just saw, we got the thing all washed up and turned out pretty good. Can't complain. Still a couple things to tidy up on the chassis. Still have to tighten up the A-arms and grease all that stuff, put the steering link in, brake lines, fuel line, all that stuff. But we're going ahead and getting this uncovered. Last thing it needs is the water pump, like I mentioned before, just the gaskets and such. The pump's all painted and ready to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and wheel this thing out so we can start getting prepped and ready to get this engine and trans mated together and put down in the chassis. All right, guys, got the old hoist over here. Got the engine ready. got the lift links on it. Then obviously I'm going to remove the valve cover and put some nice cloths in there so the chain doesn't hurt anything. But that's probably going to do it for me for the day on this. Spent most of the day getting the whole back shop area cleaned up here. As you can tell, I got plenty of area to work now. Plenty of room. We got this whole back table dedicated to Corvette stuff. So I think tomorrow I'm going to be getting the going through our parts racks and getting the bolts out for the adapter, as well as the bell housing bolts, getting those all cleaned up and ready. And hopefully after I do all that kind of stuff, we should be getting the torque converter put in the trans and getting the engine up on the hoist and bolting these two things together. So could very well have an engine in tomorrow afternoon, which would be awesome. So anyway, we'll pick up then. All right, guys, some more Corvette stuff. It's another day. Yesterday I didn't film because it was pretty boring. All I did was we're at the point in the final assembly where I get all the original hardware back out and completely clean it up and organize it so everything's ready to put together. As I think I stated in another clip, the transmission's all done. We just got to get the torque converter back in it. So we're about to get the torque converter back in it. Went ahead and got the steering back on it. We had this unit all pulled apart. There's actually a carrier bearing in there and a stud, and you have to press all that stuff together. So I went ahead and did that because doing that with the engine in is almost impossible. So I went ahead and knocked that out. And these are the old tie rod ends. I basically got those on there just to keep the steering together where it's not flopping all around when we go to roll it. And then when we get the new tie rod ends, I'll swap those out one by one. So other than that, basically we're at the point now, since I got all those bolts cleaned up, we are ready to get the hoist up, get this thing up in the air, get the adapter plate bolted on. And then once that torque converter's in, we can mate these two things together and we can get them set in the chassis. So hopefully the next clip you'll see here is getting all that stuff bolted up and mated together and get this thing in the chassis. Saw in that hellaciously long time lapse. Got this thing all together. So basically now we are ready for the inspection cover and to spin the engine and get the torque converter bolts tightened up. So we're going to do that after lunch, and then we're going to get this thing set back down in the chassis. So turning out pretty good. All right, guys, went ahead and got the converter bolts on. Let's see if we can see them in there. There we go. Got them all tightened up. I didn't get the inspection cover that covers up that area there. I didn't get that put on just yet. We got to get it out, clean it up, and paint it. It can just slip up underneath there at a later time. I'm not too worried about it. But anyway, everything else is done, so I think we're going to go ahead and drop this sucker down in the chassis. So, and I didn't show this either. Got the trans mount put in it with the original bolts. And this is an original trans mount. You can see the rubber is a little tore up in there, but it's really solid overall. And I left the main mount
a little bit loose for adjustability, as well as the engine mounts. That's always good to do so you can get everything exactly where you want it. And when this car's up on the lift, we may end up putting a jack underneath the trans and putting a new one of those in there. But honestly, that original one is in good shape, especially the rubber underneath. And anything original is usually better than reproduction, so it'll probably last. It's not like this car is going to be a daily driver, so and it's not like it's going to get driven that often. But anyway, probably going to set you guys up with a little time lapse here, and we'll get this sucker put in. Okay, just got everything bolted in. Engine mounts are all tight, and I got a cotter pin through the bottom on a castle nut, so that's all done. Trans is mounted in. Yeah, both engine mounts are tight, so she's in there. First time in a long time. Back on the Corvette this morning, and we're starting off, and got the dipstick out, which it's an NOS dipstick. The previous owner of this car had been collecting parts since, I believe, 1968. So we're getting ready to slip this thing in there and take it out of the package. Always breaks my heart taking NOS stuff out, but better to get used than see them sit. So we'll go ahead and get this thing out and get it slipped in the engine.
Yeah, because I'm going to try to solder those in too. I've got this set done.
All right, so we just got the exhaust in for the Corvette. So we'll go ahead and do a little unboxing here, set you guys up and let you check it out. This is a made in the USA, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a Gardner. It's all stainless. I know it's pretty dang expensive, so we're gonna get this thing open and see what we got, see what it comes with. So we know what I need hanger-wise for the frame, and we'll go from there. Yep. There we have it, guys. There's a muffler, or mufflers, both sides. Here's all the rest of the piping and all the correct hangers and everything you need there.
Definitely not a cheap kit by any means, but comes with all the installation instructions as well, which is pretty self-explanatory. We got the body off it, so it should make it a lot easier in doing so. Anyway, we're gonna clean this mess up and then get everything all opened up and see where we're at. So we'll get back with you then. Okay, finally got it all unpackaged, and after I got the packaging off, I can definitely tell this is not stainless. I kind of thought it was, but I didn't think they made them stainless, but we had thought this one was, but it's definitely not. Came with all the hardware, and they got everything labeled. Literally everything you need to bolt this on your car, minus the flanges to bolt them up to the manifold, and yes, I know I'm missing a stud. I'm about ready to put that in. And that kind of screws us on putting this together, because that's like the first thing you need to do is get those bolted up at the manifold so you can hang everything. So we're kind of on hold on that for now. So I guess I'll just move on to something else until we can get those little collector clamp deals. All right, what's up, guys? I think we left off unboxing the exhaust and kind of getting it going. Well, kind of got to a stopping point because we don't have the manifold flanges. The owner actually has them at his house, and he is actually out of country right now, so I can't get those until he gets back. So we're kind of at a stopping point on that. So I've been getting all small items ready. As you can tell, I'm kind of in the process of doing the inner headlight buckets and then the other outer headlight bucket deals. And I don't know if you remember in the previous clip when we got this engine and trans set in, I had mentioned the there we go, the cover, and we were missing that. I didn't take the car apart in the very beginning because the owner actually took this thing all apart back in like 70 or 71, I think. And parts were kind of everywhere. He did a really good job at labeling them, but stuff had just kind of got moved around over the years. Well, we just come across it, and I got a little tack coat on it. It's not fully painted yet. So just got this thing all washed up in the parts washer. Obviously, it's got dings and nicks and all that. It's original. Obviously, I'm just cleaning it up, painting it black, and getting that cover plate put on there to keep that torque converter and flex plate all protected in there. So here's the mating face for it to mount. So we'll go ahead and get this thing painted and bolt that thing up and show you guys what it looks like. Okay, there's that cover plate all painted and put on with the hardware cleaned up. See if we can get a good view from the bottom side. Looks pretty good. And then I also went over and I'd done the starter. I think when we first got the car in, I had taken this, we had some downtime, and I redid this original starter. Took it all apart, cleaned everything, painted it. Missing the top nut here. We don't have any fine thread stuff laying around, so we'll have to pick that up from the hardware store. But other than that, got it bolted in from the bottom there. It turned out pretty nice. All right, left off yesterday getting that cover plate on and those buckets painted, and I got those all done and installed. Well, we got to get the mounting hardware, and then here's the covers, and then there's like a nice chrome shield with guards that go over the full outside of those. And got the adjuster hardware all cleaned up. I won't obviously put everything together yet because this car still needs to be cut and buffed, which we will probably do after we set the car on the body on the chassis. Anyway, I think I'm going to end this video off with one last thing. We got the decals here, blue flame and the 150 decal, and they go over here on the side. It tells you how long. Okay, so the previous owner of this car, we did another 54 4 back in, I think we worked on it from 2013 and finished it up in like spring of 2015.
And that car unfortunately got sold. He's just too old to have a collection anymore. And this was another one of his. He sold to a client that we're working for now that we've done another car for in the past. And I think he bought this car in 68, if I remember right. And this car was taken apart in 71. And if it shows you how old this decal kit is, here's the instructions from a typewriter. And I'm pretty sure this receipt was from the early mid-70s. So it's definitely been sitting for quite some time. And the decals are so old that I actually have to trim around them because, you know, they obviously, when they did these, they didn't have the technology of the plotters and stuff that we do now. But anyway, I'll show you guys the process, and that little sheet over there tells you exactly where to place these decals. So I'm going to get the side of this valve cover all cleaned up, and we'll set you up, and I'll have me putting these decals on real quick. All right, as you just saw in a little bit of the B-roll there, we got them stuck on. And it's not perfect because these things are really old. But when I was running my finger across here and getting it stuck, some of the white actually just chipped off of the actual vinyl just because it's so old. So I think they look cool because they actually look kind of original, but if he's unhappy with that little slit, they still remake these decals. We'll peel it up and stick a new one on for him. But as you could tell there in the B-roll, we'll get a last shot of it here. Turned out pretty good. Got everything lined up with according to the instructions, and I'm pretty happy with it. But that is going to do it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this Corvette. Finally getting caught up on this thing. Hope you enjoyed all the content on it, and there's more to come because we're finally obviously in the final assembly stage. That's my absolute favorite thing to do. So that'll wrap it up, and I'll probably start filming and picking up where we left off here, doing some more final assembly bits on the car. But for now, we'll see you in the next video, and remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And see you in the next one.